Is that your old content?
Yeah, I was on the shitting on non-binaries train like 4 months ago. Okay, I've moved on. I think non-binaries are based now. So.
Do you really?
Kind of, yeah. I got enough emails from people. I was convinced.
That's embarrassing.
That I listened to feedback from other
the
people's
Kool-Aid.
experience. Well,
No,
here's the thing.
Kool-Aid.
I think that the non-binary identity is probably the easiest one to fake. So there's a lot of like cringy people out there that pretend they're non-binary.
Yeah, it's the easiest one to fake, and it's like just fake in general.
I don't know if it's fake in general. I'm not sure. But
It's
I mean,
fake.
like how?
What is
okay.
non-binary? So you said that you're non-binary.
I said it at one point in time because the way people talked made it sound like maybe I could be, but after finding out what real non-binary people are like, I don't think I'm non-binary at all. I just don't care about some ways of presentation, but I don't care. I don't think
because
I'm
no
non-binary.
one does.
Well,
because no one does. Because
that's
no
not true.
one has an internal experience of gender. Because it means fucking nothing.
Do you really think that's the case?
Yes. What does that even mean in 2022? Who feels like a woman?
I think there is absolutely an internal experience of gender. I think there is. I think it comes out in a lot of the dynamics.
And what
how
does
we
that
interact.
feel like? And what does it feel like?
It's hard to explain, but it's like these little poles that we have. Okay, I'm sorry, bitch. What does it feel like to be a human? Explain it. You got 2 sentences. Otherwise, you're not a real human.
I'm breathing. I'm alive.
Oh, that breathing?
I eat,
really?
I
Dogs
shit.
breathe. Dogs eat. Dog shit. What else?
I have the capacity for empathy.
Yeah, everything has a capacity for empathy. That has fucking eyeballs.
I have thumbs that work.
Great. So do monkeys. Okay,
We are
so
kind
shut the fuck up. Calm the fuck down. Don't roll your eyes at me. Sorry.
Relax, Steven.
Okay.
I
feel like there are ways that men tend to act. There are ways that women tend to act. And there are seemingly like internal experiences that go along with our gender. Now, it's hard to point out what exactly those are, much the same that like, especially if there's nothing wrong, much the same that it's hard for me to point out like, what is it like to be a human? Or what is it like to have a conscious experience? It's different from like a dog or something. But it seems like there's some internal experience because some people are like really fucked on it. Like, this is like the question I have. And you know what? You can get me to not believe in all trans people right now. Are you ready? You can make me the ultimate transphobe. How do you account?
I want to do that.
We'll do it. Okay, I want you to do it.
I'm not transphobic.
That's what you say. How do you account for people that have these like super incongruent experiences of gender where they
It's an aberration. It's a mental illness.
Okay, sure.
I think that what they think they think they're feeling gender, but what they're really feeling is just like another mental like lost.
Okay, sure.
Just feeling lost.
Let's say
I think
that-
they hate themselves. I think they feel worthless.
Yeah,
I think in a lot of cases they might be like autogynephilic.
Okay, let's say that that's the case. Let's say that all of these things you're saying are true. Okay.
Okay. They are.
Okay, sure. Let's say they are. Good job. You've discovered it. Why haven't we found any other therapies beyond like gender affirming care that seem to work to alleviate these people's problems? If that is the case,
What have we tried?
a whole bunch of different types of conversion therapies.
Like what? Like what is that? What does conversion therapy look like for people who are like gender conversion therapy? What does that look like?
I don't know what specific gender conversion therapy is. We can look up some programs if you want.
Yeah, let's do it. Because I was talking to Lonerbox and I was like, I don't know, conversion therapy for like trans people, like secular conversion therapy that's, love your body, body
Thanks for putting it on
neutrality,
now.
like
I can do
learn how
something
to
else
live
for
with
the
this
rest of my
body
day.
doesn't feel like harmful. That feels like ideal.
Okay, wait. Repeat that last thing again.
Like how much of it? The whole thing?
Just the last sentence you said. Sorry, some fucking moron donated like a dumb fuck at the dumbest fucking time. Now I muted all of them.
It doesn't feel that bad to have secular conversion therapy that's just telling kids like, love your body, learn how to love or exist in the body that you exist in, even if it doesn't feel like it's like, yeah, just learn how to body neutrality, just learn how to love your body, learn how to love yourself as you are.
Mm-hmm.
Like that doesn't like Lonerbox described that as conversion therapy, and I'm like, that just
what you're
feels,
talking
good.
about isn't loving your body is fundamentally different than like accepting your gender. I think that's a different thing. So I'm borrowing off the wiki here, and then we can go deeper into this if you want to look up specific things. But apparently, common methods of conversion therapy are counseling, visualization, social skills training, psychoanalytic therapy, and spiritual interventions. Other methods that have been used include lobotomies, chemical castration, aversive treatments such as the application of electric shock to the hands and or genitals, nausea-inducing drugs administered with the presentation of homoerotic stimuli, and masturbatory reconditioning. That's probably for like sexual orientation stuff.
Yeah. Yeah, that stuff sounds bad, but
I mean, like, this is just like a feeling that I have, a prior, okay, I could be wrong on this, but I feel like if we would have discovered some successful kind of conversion therapy, we'd be like screaming it from the rooftops, and everybody would just be saying, do that, because it's so much easier than like all the drugs and surgeries and like everything else, no?
I don't know if it's that much easier, and it's certainly not as profitable.
I don't think there's very much profit anywhere in any of this, so I don't think profitability has any.
I don't know. I think that there's profit for like the new gender affirmation therapists that like just started existing in the past 5 years.
I don't think that a group of people that didn't exist couldn't have willed themselves into existence with their non-existent profits. I don't believe that is the case.
Here's my problem with the non-binary thing. Okay,
Sure.
Also, I'm not saying that there should be an alternative that's like, I'm not saying that like everyone should be in conversion therapy. I'm not even saying it's necessarily a good thing. I'm just saying there's got to be like another option. Like there's got to be something else that's not just like, I think that my biggest issue and what a lot of people are like trying to grapple with is giving like kids, is letting kids diagnose themselves to some extent.
Sure.
And letting them have access to HRT.
Yeah. Wait, real quick. Hold on, before we go down this road, because we can, okay? I'm not accusing you of anything, okay? But I'm saying that a heuristic that I would use when talking to people is it's frustrating if somebody expresses a concern with something, but then they jump around to like 20 other concerns. So like if somebody says, I fucking hate women, and I'm like, well, why do you hate women? And they're like, I don't like female sports. It's like, okay, well, that's different than hating women, okay? If you want to talk about specifically minors...
I have a couple problems.
Sure, wait. If you want to talk specifically about like minors getting access to HRT, I think there's a conversation to be had there, but that's fundamentally different than like, I don't believe in non-binary people, right? But okay, go ahead.
Well, I think it's more of like and situation, not like a because like I.
Well, sure, but one thing at a time.
I think I have a couple problems with gender ideology.
Sure.
But yeah, the one that I'm going to go on a tangent on now is I think that most people, like myself, can like get down with like can get down, Jesus Christ, can understand transsexualism, right? Like we know that there's like a scientific basis. We know that there's like, you know, whatever. We want people to be the happiest that they can be.
Sure.
I think that a lot of people have hangups, like I said, on giving like kids HRT. Because that's like a big decision for a kid to make. Like informed consent can only go so far when your like frontal lobe isn't developed. So there's got to be, but we can't say like, okay, wait until you're 18 because there are kids who are like killing themselves, obviously. So that becomes like the looming thing in the back. That's like, you know, kids are killing themselves and you're killing them if you like don't give them HRT, basically, which is like really spooky. And I think that there are like other alternatives than just like giving them these drugs or they kill themselves, right? Like there's got to be.
Okay.
Even if we're babysitting them until they turn 18, right? Even if we're like, hey, just like hold out a bit. But also I don't necessarily believe this is my true opinion, my one true opinion. This is my actual opinion. Everything else is just like I'm just thinking about it.
Okay.
I think that males, like trans women, should be given HRT or blockers as minors before puberty, if possible. Because they obviously stand to lose the most if they don't integrate with society. Right? Because if you go through testosterone's like a hell of a drug, right? Like if you go through a male puberty and you're 6'4" and huge and hairy, you're like gonna have like a really shitty time integrating into society as a woman.
Okay.
Whereas like the same reality doesn't exist for trans men.
Sure.
So, and we know that like things like social contagion affect like teenage girls in a way that like they don't affect like any other.
I don't know if that's true, but
it is true.
There's social contagion doesn't affect men at all?
No, it does affect men, but not at the same rates. Like things like cutting, things like eating disorders, you know, are almost like exclusively like teenage women. Like certain mental illnesses, like
that might be true. I can probably believe that, sure.
Yeah, it like definitely affects women at like a rate that is like, you know, And I feel like that's becoming like transgenderism or whatever is sort of like started to go into that sort of territory. And if these people have nothing to lose, they should develop normally, and then just wait until they're 18 to take HRT, right? Like, that's what I think.
Okay.
Because they're not losing anything like a trans woman might. And also we know that, like, for some reason, the prevalence of like transgender women has stayed like really similar throughout the past like 50 years. It's had like little upticks, but trans maleness or trans manness has like skyrocketed. Like, it's doubled by like 300%.
When you say trans men, you're talking about women to men, female to male, right?
Yeah, talking about female to male.
Gotcha.
Or female to non-binary.
Sure.
It's like skyrocketed at a rate that like we don't understand.
Sure. There's
Which is
probably
another
a
thing
lot
with
of
the social contagion.
Yeah, with the women there's probably a lot of bullshit happening. Based on what I've heard. It's probably the case.
Yeah.
Sure.
Yeah, I agree. And then that becomes my second issue with the whole trans non-binary thing is that I think a lot of women are just saying it because they're like they're like functioning off of like extremely high levels of internalized misogyny.
Okay, that's a whole separate thing, but
yeah, it is a whole separate thing. I just presented that as like my second issue.
Okay, gotcha. Okay, well, where do you want to start?
Where do you want to start?
Well, the thing that you've laid in the beginning makes it sound like you don't have problems with children being diagnosed as trans. You want more caution to be applied to trans men than trans or women. No, more caution to be applied to trans women than trans men because the consequences for going through a male puberty are severe, so that might require more severe intervention, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, I think there's probably, it seems like there's a lot of like, there's a big like female SJW to non-binary like pipeline that seems to exist right now that's like super fucking cringe, but whatever.
Whatever.
Well, I don't know what it's like. It's just like the trendy
We're
thing
losing
right
our
now.
women.
It's the trendy
We're
thing right
losing
now.
our
I mean,
women
like,
on the front line.
I mean, these were going to be like fourth wave fucking feminists anyway. Like, it's not like it's not, I don't know if it matters. What are some of the big, I guess, like what's like a big mainstream disagreement? Because technically, most of what you said there is not super disagreeable, I don't think.
No, but people still are calling me like transphobic right now. Like,
but yeah,
like,
obviously, because anytime you say anything about this topic, that's what people are going to call you. Right?
So yeah, I think this whole thing is brain dead. I think that most people are reasonable and have like reasonable questions about this whole like gender ideology thing, but we're like not allowed to talk about it because everything is like seen as like hateful, and it's like a big cult. It's like a big fascist cult.
Yeah, I knew an old YouTuber who used to say the same. True.